Welcome on in to the Personal Foul Podcast. I am your host, Colton Gesser. Alongside me is my co-host, Phil Sitta. Phil, how the heck are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you today?
Me, I'm great. You know what? I wouldn't say great, actually. I'll get on to my Pittsburgh bums later on. I'll rant about those idiots. You had your rant a few weeks back about the Dolphins. It is my time to shine about the black and gold. So we'll get to them in a little bit, but it is
that
a big
towel out, wipe your tears.
See, again, you and the terrible towel. That's all right. That's fine. My team's still better than yours. Ha! That's right. Anyway, a lot of sports news going on around the world right now. Just first pitch finally just hit the deck here in New York as the Mets and Phillies are underway as every divisional round is 1-1. So we'll start off with baseball, then we'll work our way to puck and a little bit of football. Of course, on this podcast, cannot not talk about the NFL. It's eat, sleep, breathe the NFL around here. So we'll start off with baseball. What has surprised you most so far? Because every series is 1-1 currently. Dodgers, Padres has been a little spicy. Mets, Phillies 1-1. Yankees, Royals 1-1. And Detroit and Cleveland 1-1. So I want to get your thoughts on everything going around on the diamond.
I mean, it's no surprise that the Yankees and Royals are 1-1. Aaron Boone just always gets in his own way. What the hell is John Birdie doing at first base last night? I mean, seriously? You can't put Stanton at first base? Yeah, I mean, it's really just – it's an abortion of a mess what the Yankees do. And then I got to hear – I didn't find this out until last night, and shame on me for not knowing this. Clark Schmidt is starting tomorrow over Luis Gil. Your best pitcher all year round is not even starting in the playoffs. We're going to use him as a long reliever. Are you kidding me? What the hell are you doing, Aaron Boone? I would not be surprised if the Yankees lost this series. And my God, if they do, he better be gone. He better be gone. I cannot take this nonsense anymore. How in God's name are you not starting Luis Gil in the series? All right, you got to start Cole. You got to start Rodon, who stunk last night in the fourth inning, by the way. But how in God's name are you not starting Hill? It is an absolute atrocity that he's not pitching. I can't stand Aaron Boone. The man sucks beyond reproach. And John Birdie at first base last night. Yeah, he had a hit. Yeah, he had a nice little play there, the double play. He shouldn't be there. I mean, it's just so bad right now. It's terrible. Boone is so overmatched. I can't take it no more.
Yeah, Boone sucks. I think we all know that. But yeah, sure. Again, Rodon starts off really well yesterday. I mean, that first inning, I was absolutely buzzing. I was like, holy cow, this is going to be one of those starts. I've been talking Rodon all season. I'm like, my dad loves him. I'm like, no. I'm like, he sucks. I know he had a good run there for the Yanks early on. I'm like, nah, this dude just flat out sucks. And then yesterday he starts off great. I'm like, oh boy, I will gladly eat my words on Rodon. And then he has his Rodon meltdown in the fourth. By the way, Birdie with a big hit, by the way, and he actually didn't play bad at first base. I don't know. I mean,
he did, but you don't put the first time ever playing there in a playoff game. I'm sorry, that's just bad managing.
So you're going to put Stanton there. That's never. So then you're going to put Stanton there. That's never played first base. I mean, like the guy that can't move.
You got to put Stanton at first base next year. You can't leave him as a DH. You got to have some position flexibility. Why can't you put him at first base? I don't understand. He doesn't have to move much. Put him there. There's no reason.
Then you're allowing a lot of extra base hits. And again, you think this guy's scooping any balls out of the dirt or making any plays? Absolutely not. That dude sucks.
Maybe you don't know. If he hurts himself. But let's get to the core of the problem with the Yankees right now, and that's Aaron Judge, okay? For 5 years now, I've heard Aaron Judge, I want to bring a championship to New York. I want to bring a title. I want to bring a ring. I want a parade in New York. First inning last night, what's his name? On Kansas City, walks the first two players, and you strike out. That's piss poor. Just piss poor. Absolutely piss poor. What are you doing? You've got to make contact there. That's absolutely god-awful. Judge, you got to shut your mouth and start producing. I love you. From the very first moment you came up as a Yankee, I saw that mammoth blast. You hit the glass. You automatically became my favorite Yankee. But to be a Yankee is to produce in October, and you have not done that yet. And it's time you start producing, starting tonight. You shit the bed last night. Tonight you better start. Enough is enough with this.
Well, they don't play tonight, but yeah, tomorrow night. Yes.
Tomorrow night, whatever. And these off days are a joke as well. What the hell is MLB doing? Play off. I mean, come on, travel day. Enough. It kills the flow of the series.
Yeah, it makes zero sense. But yeah, anyway, I agree with you 1,000%. Aaron Judge, I am the guy that usually pisses on Stanton all season long for not coming up in the big moment. He's had more big moments in the playoffs than Aaron Judge has.
Much more. Many, many more.
Yeah. Again, I agree with you. I don't understand what the Judge thing is. I don't understand. Again, I don't know if he's trying to do too much. Like, my man, I don't need you to put the ball in the park. If he hits the ball to right field that moves over the runner for second or third, and we get another pop out or another fly ball, it's 1-0 Yankees. Instead, we get nothing.
On the ropes right off the bat. I mean, it was like a free pass for him. He settled down after he got Judge out, and he just, if his pitch count wasn't so high, he probably would have went much deeper into the game. But it was an atrocious job by Judge. I blame him for this and for the past shortcomings. Him and Boone, both of them. They're like 1A and 1B right now.
Yeah, I think Boone it's just what it is. But the thing is, everyone praises Judge for what he does
in the regular season.
Yeah, and again, I'm not huge on the Judge wagon. Again, you got to get in the postseason, so you clearly have to have a good regular season to get into the dance. But this is exactly why, Phil, you cannot lose Juan Soto. By the way, just in case you're wondering, I know he didn't do really anything yesterday, but he had a great game one. This is exactly why you can't lose Juan Soto.
I agree, you can't lose him. But are the Yankees going to pay $600 million? You got to remember, they got $1 billion invested in Cole, Judge, Stanton, and Rodon. I mean, the money's going to run out somewhere. You're going to give this guy $600 million. He's going to get that much. Someone's going to give him $600 million. Will the Yankees? That's going to be the question.
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know if they're going to give it to him. All I know is they can't lose him. They better figure something out. They cannot lose him if Judge is going to continue not performing the whole season.
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts around the National League series? Because I mean, what's called's really spicy. Dodgers, Padres is really feisty.
I absolutely love it. That's some old school baseball right there. Fans throwing stuff out of the stands. I remember a little some 77, 78 Royal Yankee series there when they used to brawl everywhere. Hopefully we can get some beanballs going. The Mets Philly series, that's an absolute classic. The Detroit-Cleveland series is actually really good. Too bad nobody's watching it because it's on in the afternoon when nobody gives a damn about those two teams anyway. But Screwball, I mean, he's going to be Cy Young. I mean, I hate to see the Yankees face him in the next series if the Yankees get that far. But the playoffs, have been really, really good. And it started with Atlanta and the Mets, back on the last day of the season with the doubleheader. It's been some riveting baseball the past couple of weeks, and I hope it continues. The sport needs it.
It does need it. And again, I'm very much enjoying the Manny Machado drama with the Dodgers. And shame on the Dodgers fans for throwing all the stuff on the field at Profar and at Tatis. Disgrace.
Hey, not for nothing. Profar didn't have to talk shit after he made that catch when he went into the stands, which was a hell of a catch, by the way. But, I mean, you're looking for trouble if you're going to start jawing with the fans after making a catch like that. Just flash the gloves up. Hey, look, I made the catch. He didn't even show the umpire. He was too busy yapping with the fans. It's an LA crowd. What do you expect? I mean, the fans, and this is something I want to touch on another subject one day. Fans since COVID have been angry as hell at sporting events. And I can break down a lot of things, but we'll talk about that for another day.
So you mentioned about the Phillies to me before we got on.
Yes.
I want you to poke fun at the Philly fans and what's going on there with that. I know you were all giddy to smack talk the Philly fans. So the floor is yours, Phil.
All right. So apparently Jeremy, and I don't have the full story yet. I just because this was breaking news by Ray Trimble, our associate. Jeremy Barnes is the hitting coach for the Mets, and he was on the infamous Astro staff when they got caught cheating back in 17 with Hinch and Correa, and Cora was there. All the cheaters that were there, the Astros team. So Stram, for the reliever for Philly, has not given up a home run on a changeup all year. And then Alonso all of a sudden decides the belt went off of him in game 1, which gave the Mets the win. So WIP went into this big, thing here a little while ago. I didn't get to listen to the whole thing because my fans come first and they're more important. So WIP will have to wait. But this is breaking news. I don't know how true it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some credibility to it because of what Houston did, staining the game back in 2017 and screwing the Yankees out of a World Series title, screwing Aaron Judge out of an MVP, screwing Joe Girardi out of a job. That's a show for another day as well. But I would not be surprised if there's some backhand shenanigans going on with that.
Yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on that, and if there's anything that comes of that more, we will touch on it, of course, next week. So, again, everything all tied up 1-1 around the diamond. Now we head to the puck that finally gets off and running today. We have already a game going on up and running now. We'll have Utah start off later on tonight. We had some of the Metro get started on Friday and Saturday with the Global Series as the New Jersey Devils start off 2-0 on the season. Phil,
calm down. They played Buffalo.
That's great. That's fine and dandy. I do not care, but we are off and running. But I wanted to get started on a little bit of puck here in the Metro. I know you want to talk some puck this week. Let's talk some puck.
Yeah.
What are your expectations for the Metro? Again, we're not talking all the NHL. We're keeping a little local.
No.
Sorry, folks. We're keeping it local here with the Metro. But what are your expectations?
Yeah, nobody really gives a damn about the Vancouver Canucks around here. And yes, we are going to do hockey, whether you people like it or not. Although I think more of the people who subscribe to the show are into hockey more than basketball. But that's an argument for another day. Anyway, I'm just going to do this in ABC order. I'm going to start off with the Carolina Hurricanes. They had 111 points last year. I do see a downfall with them this year. I mean, losing Gensel is going to hurt them big time. Seth Jarvis, he's still a great player for them. I don't see, I don't see Carolina doing what they've done the past couple of years. They're getting older. 8 of their 23 roster players are on expiring contracts. Orlov, Burns, they're on last year's. They could be dealt. They have reasonable contracts. They got a new general manager in Eric Tolsky. I could see them selling at the deadline. Your thoughts on that?
See, that's a hot take. I didn't think they'd be selling at the deadline. That's interesting. They also did lose Brett Pesce. He goes to the New Jersey Devils, one of their other defensemen who's been really solid and reliable back there with their solid defense. I think that's kind of really what they've built off is a really solid defense there in Carolina. And again, they trade for Getsel at the deadline, and now he's gone. So, so it's really curious what Carolina is going to be. I still think they're going to be good, but again, this division.
There's still a lot of talent there. They got Aho, and the rest of them. But I see a dip for them this year.
Yeah, I very could see it. I could see that very much so. This division is very good. And again, we'll touch on the next team next, and the Flyers, who seem to be improving every single season here the last few. But I want to get your thoughts on the Flyers.
I actually have them as a playoff team, believe it or not. I think Tortorella's, they've been the borderline for the past couple of years. I think Torts finally gets them in. The loss, Hart killed them last year. I think if he doesn't get hurt, they probably get that last wild card spot. They got Mitchkoff there this year. Owen Tippett, he may break out. He's 25. He's, he plays bigger, than what he normally does. He's a really good player. If they stay healthy, they're not going to tear down the world, but I see them making the playoffs. I see them sneaking in the last wild card.
They definitely can. Owen Tippett definitely took the league by storm last year, had himself a good campaign. I feel like every time he played against the Devils, he somehow got a point or a goal in the game.
He was a double killer.
Yes, he was very good for the Fly guys last year when he played against the Devils, that's for sure. Yeah, again, if Hart doesn't get hurt, I also don't think he was amazing. I think their goaltending definitely let them down last season, and
Oh yeah.
I think they're definitely going to be competing for a wild card spot. I don't know about the division with how loaded
No,
this division is, but
we're not going to win in the top 3. No chance.
no chance. Well, we'll go to one of those teams that is going to be competing for the top 3, and that would be the team that's already off and running with a 2-0 start. That would be the New Jersey Devils, and I will start off on this, as that was my lovely team, and I'm very excited about getting a healthy Jack Hughes. Timo Meyer seems to be better without. Oh, gosh, it was wonderful seeing Lindy Ruff lose 2 to the Devils, and his face after the Devils kicked his Sabres' ass over
That's
the
not
weekend.
nice.
So it was great. I don't care. But it was great seeing Lindy Ruff face the Devils and get spanked 2 goals or 2 games in already. But Timo Meyer, I think, is going to have a better season than he did last year. As soon as they trade away, or as soon as they fire Lindy Ruff, Timo Meyer seemed to step up. And the big problem was their defense. They lost Dougie Hamilton after the first month of the season, put a lot of young defensemen in there. Luke Hughes, Simone Nemitz, asked a lot of 2 young guys, and that quickly, again, they had good seasons, but you could tell they were young and inexperienced. Now you get Dougie Hamilton. They bring in Brett Pesce, and they brought in another guy I'm forgetting. He's also had a good start. He had a first game to remember. He had a goal and assist in his opener for the Devils. And they bring in Jacob Markstrom, the big acquisition of the offseason. Goaltending's been crap for the Devils, and they finally get a new goaltender in, and he stands on his head game 1 with 30 saves on 31 attempts. So I think the Devils are going to be competing. I mean, you know what Jack Hughes is. Hart Trophy winner, guy that can compete for the Hart every single season if he's healthy. So I think the Devils are going to be competing for the division and possibly for the Cup if everything goes the way their offseason went with all the acquisitions. You can smirk all you want, Phil. They're going to be there.
The Cup. They beat Buffalo 2 games. Slow down.
Am I jumping off the wagon on beating Buffalo? No. I'm talking about what they did in the offseason. Their defense was a problem.
They did. They had a hell of a offseason. They got Connor, Dylan,
and they bring in Jacob Markstrom. If they could stay healthy,
Mark, that was huge.
This team's competing for a Cup. Sorry to tell you, because that's what everyone thought they were doing last year. Yes, everyone had them competing for a Cup last year. Sorry to tell you. Now they bring in a goal. They're competing for a Cup. Sorry to tell you, Phil.
I'll tell you. I'll give you this. If Hughes and Meyer stay healthy, yeah, those 2 are always hurt. Always hurt. And they need Hamilton. Yeah, they could be. I don't see it. But, yeah, we'll see.
They're competing for a Cup. Sorry to tell you. Now we'll move on to your Islanders. Time for you to gloat about the Isles here. Where's yours?
Well, Patrick Waugh, obviously, is going to make a huge difference. Getting Duclair in the offseason, I thought was huge. They needed another, a wing scorer. You can only do so much with Horvat and Barzal. You still got Palmieri, Nelson, Lee. They're all middle of the road, clogging it up. You got your most overpaid 4th line in the NHL, which still irritates the hell out of me. I mean, the key to the Islanders is going to be Sorokin. I mean, he had surgery last year. He played through most of it, which is why he wasn't on his game for most of the year. He's a much better goaltender than what he showed last year. If he comes in healthy this year, the Isles will be a Cup contender. They're definitely a top 2.
Right? Yeah, that's you're
How dare you interrupt me when I'm speaking about
You're
my
smirking.
Islanders.
You're smirking as you're trying to sell it. That's great.
They got the best defense in the Metro. Give me that. Give me that at least. Come on, Pellick, Pollock, Dobson, Romanov, Mayfield. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, best defense in the Metro. They can shut anybody down. They can hit with anybody. They block a lot of shots. They do all the little gritty things. And if Walker ever get that power play going, that pathetic power play, if that ever gets going, the Isles could be scary. But
sure
thing. A big part of that.
Sure thing, Phil. Well, since we're going from one dump to the next, I guess we'll quietly talk about Columbus. Clear the big story of Columbus. We talked about it. I think it might have been our first or second show with the passing of Johnny Gaudreau. But absolutely ashamed of that. I mean, we've talked about that when that news broke. But Columbus, I last place team, I think we can agree here in the Metro. I think we can agree on that.
They're going to play with some heart. Who did they brought somebody on the team. Monahan, who is really close friends with Gaudreau. I think he's going to grit the team into winning some games. There'll probably be a last place. Now, I still think Washington's going to be a last place team, but I think Columbus is going to, ride that emotion all year long. I could see it's one of those, destiny teams, like playing hard for, the cause, I guess, so to speak. They're still not going to make the playoffs. There's still no talent there, but I expect better than what people – they're like the Minnesota Vikings, how everyone, took a dump on the Vikings. That's how I see the Columbus Blue Jackets. That's how I'll take that.
So you go with that. And again, you mentioned the Capitals. I don't think they're the last place team in this division, but you do. Give me your reasons why, Phil.
Yeah. Well, the Capitals have the oldest team in the league. I mean, it's basically Ovechkin and the rest of the NHL. I mean, what are you going to rely on Oshie and Backstrom? They could probably get traded by the end of the year. I think they're gone their last contracts here. Yeah, I could see them getting traded. I mean, that team got old quickly. I mean, Ovechkin's only hanging around to break Gretzky's record. I mean, what the hell is he playing for? He's got everything else in the world. He wants that record. It's probably going to take him 2 years. They signed Duhaime. I mean, they're going to win some games here and there. They're not the bottom of the barrel last place team like everyone thinks they will be, but they're just a slow plodding team, and I just can't see, them doing that much. I mean, their defense, Van Riemsdyk and Faharave. I mean, I don't see it. There's just too many holes in that defense for them to actually be competitive. They're going to win some games. They'll beat up on Pittsburgh. They'll knock the Rangers around once in a while. Maybe knock off the Devils just for shits and giggles, but I don't see them doing too much.
Shits and giggles. You bring up the Penguins. We'll head to Pittsburgh next before we wrap up with the New York Rangers with some interesting news there out of their goaltender there. So we'll get to the Rangers here in a second.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the Pirates? A new contract there for Sidney Crosby this offseason. What do you think out of the Pens?
I mean, look, it's about Crosby and Letang, Malkin. It's basically that, and then 22 guys that stink. They haven't really solved their goaltending problem. I mean, they traded Gensel away, and they got really nothing back for him. Who else was on this team? Sullivan, don't get me wrong, he's a Hall of Fame coach. I could see him being on the hot seat. Pittsburgh has 6 expiring contracts left, 5 with 2 years left. I could see them making a lot of changes. There's just, they don't do nothing for me. I mean, outside of their first line, there's really not much there.
We have John Mayer commenting on in about his New York
Mets.
He tunes in for our show. He tunes in for our show and says, hockey, come on, man. I turned this on to hear about hockey. The New York Mets are on.
Who cares? I'd rather talk about hockey than the Mets.
The
cheating Mets.
And he's talking about his main man. I'm going to get him. We're going to go start a GoFundMe for a Mark Vientos jersey for John Mayer.
32-year-old all of a sudden can hit. The hell out of here with Vientos, that cheater. All right, let's finish up with the Rangers.
And we'll finish up with the Rangers. Some interesting news. I don't know if you saw the contract extension that was turned down. 8 years. What was it? 11 million per? Was it 88 million total?
He turned that down. I was like, wow, good for him. Go get paid somewhere else. He wants to get the hell out of New York.
Whoa! Whoa!
I think he's talking to you.
He's talking to you. Oh, man. Johnny Mayer coming in for necks and lives. All right, but your thoughts on the Rangers?
Look, they're still the cream of the crop in the East. I mean, the scary part is I think Lafreniere is going to quietly be one of their top players because they got, you got all this talent around them. You got Panarin, and you got Kreider, Zibanejad. Everyone forgets about Lafreniere. I do think they need to trade Kakko. He's been a complete bust. That guy stinks. If the Rangers were smart, they would get rid of him. let's see who else. They got a lot of talent. Unfortunately, I hate
One
to
of my
say
favorite players.
Trocheck's an assist machine.
One of my favorite players,
Adam Fox. They got a good
geez,
defense. They're good, and they got a solid goaltender. They're probably win the President's Cup again and losing the Eastern Conference Finals because that's their MO.
Sorry, I was checking in since I hear Johnny Mayer there in the comment section. Pete Alonso gets the Mets on the board with a solo shot. So the Mets are on the board here in game number 3 at Citi Field. So, but all right, we will transition our way to the NFL.
Hold on. I got to give you my standings, my predictions.
No one cares about your standings.
Oh, everyone cares about the geniuses' predictions, all right? Because people make money off of me. People make big money off of me. What the hell did I do with them? I lost them. Well, anyway, the Islanders are number 1, Rangers number 2, Carolina 3, Jersey 4, Philly 5. Those are all the playoff teams. Then I got Pittsburgh 6, Columbus 7, Washington 8. That's
I love when you contradict yourself on everything you just said. I can see Carolina being traitors at the deadline, yet they're over New Jersey.
They're still better than Jersey.
You make no effing sense, Phil. God, why do we let you?
Because hockey teams don't make trades and all of a sudden get better. That never happens in the NHL.
No, never happens.
Not Stevens. That doesn't come to mind for you. You fraud.
You just contradicted yourself, though. That's all.
Yeah.
Anywho. Let's go to the NFL. Let's go to the NFL. Had a good game Thursday night. I was at a wedding, so I really didn't get to enjoy watching the game. I just saw my fantasy teams doing well again, as I'm 4-1 in the auction league. As you all suck, you all crap talked my draft, and I'm 4-1. Kiss my ass, Sloan. Rick,
are you and John Mayer 4-1?
Hell yeah, we are. I've kept my partner up to date. My partner knows. I texted him. I texted my partner after
You're a fluke.
Your ass. After he kicked your ass last week, and now we're on to Rick Sognus this week. So, Rick, sorry.
That's right. You beat Rick Sognus because Rick Sognus sucks. Rick Sognus always sucks. Rick Sognus sucks, and Scott sucks.
And you suck. Anyway, what a game Thursday night. Quarterback showed up big time. Kirk Cousins with his welcome to Atlanta moment, going for a franchise record 509 yards, 4 scores, 509 actually. Kiss my ass. And 4 scores, Phil. What were your thoughts about that start?
Hey, you're a little
lippy. The Atlanta Falcons.
You're a little lippy with me today. I've had enough of your nonsense, okay?
I'm used to getting your
fiance come down there and give you a fresh one right across your face.
Yes, freshy. Thank you, Phil.
No, the game was incredible. That was the best Thursday night game I've ever seen. They usually suck. I'm glad we finally got a good Thursday night game. Cousins, he did a hell of a job. He finally found Pitts, his tight end. London looked like a number 1 receiver for once. Both defenses suck. Mayfield had a great game as well. I'm not counting Tampa out. Yeah, it's going to be Tampa and Atlanta. Like I said early in my predictions, because I am the genius, those two are going to battle all year long for the division. It was a good game.
I know. It's such a tough pick with those two for the division because, the Saints suck. And so do the Carolina Panthers. So that was a real good one, Phil. You really.
I did pick Atlanta, though. I picked Atlanta to win the division. Did I not?
So did I. Low-hanging fruit. Great job.
Oh, you're going to compare yourself to me? I'm the genius, and don't you ever forget that.
I don't know.
I'm the one who's made all these incredible picks. I'm the one who goes 3-0 every week. I'm the one who dumps on you every week, Mr. 1-3. You're going to name your first kid 1-3. That's how bad you are making picks. You stink.
Man, what are you drinking tonight? Because we do 3 picks. It wouldn't be 1-3. It'd be 1-2.
Whatever.
You still suck. Anyway, we'll work our way to your pick that you got correct this week, and that would be London Calling, and that would be London Calling for Robert Saleh's job as he's canned today by the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings with a win, and it wasn't pretty. I thought the Jets were going to come back. I mean, the whole second half, Minnesota really didn't do much offensive. I was like, oh, the door's open for the Jets. And Aaron Rodgers' old ass never took advantage of it and lost. 23-17. Minnesota stays undefeated in this crazy start for Sam Darnold. Vikings 23, Jets 17 as Phil covers that game. Your thoughts, Phil?
Minnesota had a 17-0 lead early. They pretty much coasted the rest of the way. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, let's face it, he's awful. 3 interceptions again. I mean, Salah stinks as a coach. Let's not kid ourselves. But Aaron Rodgers is not good. And I said this in the very first show of the year. If you recall, Rodgers was hurt his very last year at Green Bay and was already coming down the downward scope. He's out an entire year. Don't tell me that Achilles is not bothering him. He can't plant. He has issues. The Jets have issues. Yeah, he looked great against an incredibly terrible New England team who somehow beat Cincinnati. But Aaron Rodgers is a problem right now. They have huge problems. They're not using Bryce Hall, which I don't know why. That makes absolutely no sense. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Jets. Did they announce a head coach? Is Hackett going to coach that team? Did they announce anything yet?
It's their DC.
Their DC.
Correct.
Jeez, from bad to worse.
Yeah, let's go to
it doesn't matter who runs that team because Rodgers is running it. I mean, it's a dumpster fire. It really is. It's just a terrible team, terrible franchise. Always has. I mean, he threw another pick 6. Van Stinkel has 2 pick 6s this year. I mean, my God, he couldn't do that with Miami. But Rodgers is a problem. And so are the
Miami certainly misses Van Ginkel. Sorry to tell you. You guys definitely miss him. Anyway, we'll move on to the other game that you covered. It's clearly in this order for you, clearly. Onto the next game you picked, and that'd be the Chicago Bears beating the ass out of the Carolina Panthers. I did not see that one coming. Carolina has started playing some good ball offensively with Andy Dalton underway. And boy, oh boy, Caleb Williams, welcome to the NFL. Finally had his first, first overall pick moment this week against the Panthers. Your thoughts?
He had a 126.2 rating. I mean, he did a hell of a job. 304 yards, 2 touchdowns. More, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift, looking like DeAndre Swift, he had 120 total yards. Dalton had 138 yards. He stunk. Andy Dalton does what Andy Dalton does. Has a great game, and it goes back to being the redheaded stepchild. If you notice, Bryce Young played. He's slowly getting back into the fold. So you're going to see Young take over that team real soon. I think he's going to play with a little more confidence.
Yeah, I hope so for his sake. I think he's a good dude, especially the way he talked at the podium and, when he first got benched, talking to the fans and everything. I think that kid has a good head on his shoulder, so hopefully it works out for Bryce Young. Hopefully it works out for him. But, again, the 1 o'clock window was a great window, and we'll head off to the awful bungholes in Cincinnati as they just couldn't get a big win, and they blow it late. Evan McPherson, Shooter McPherson, remember how cocky and confident he was. Shooter McPherson misses a field goal. Wasn't totally his fault. It was an awful snap, and he shanks the living crap out of it. They go to OT, lose the game as Joe Burrow with his awful haircut continues to struggle with the Bengals. They go to 1-4. Ravens getting going. They're 3-2, tied on top of the North with Pittsburgh as a 41-38 win for Baltimore. Your thoughts on an absolute shootout in Cincy?
I mean, let's not forget that holding call in overtime. That was a brutal call. I mean, Cincinnati could have won that game, right off the bat in OT. Chase, who beat me in a couple of leagues this week, I mean, he got those 2 bombs. Chase looked like the Chase of old. The Baltimore D did not show up at all. I was really surprised by that. I mean, let Burrow go up and down on them the way they did. I mean, Burrow was 30 for 39, 392 yards. Chase 10 for 193. Higgins 9 for 83. I mean, where the hell was Baltimore's defense there? It was Cincinnati had 2 10-point leads in the second half, and they blew it both times. I mean, my God, that's terrible. There was 790 yards of total passing in this game. It was a great game. It was a typical, AFC Central warm weather game where there's a lot of scoring. Because if that game was in December, that score would be like 15-10 or something like that. But it was an entertaining game. I still don't have much faith in Baltimore. They'll probably end up winning the division. Cincinnati's done. I mean, they're 1-4. Miami and the Jets have a better record than Cincinnati. You got to put that into perspective. Cincinnati's done. They got a brutal schedule the rest of the way. I mean, my God, Joe Burrow's not making the playoffs, and that's going to hurt the ratings come playoff time.
Yeah, I can't believe Zach Taylor's got to be on the hot seat. Didn't think I'd say that. Again, a lot of people were shocked with the hire of Zach Taylor, and this isn't going to work out. And it's actually worked out really well for him. But this season, the way this is going, unless there's a turnaround, he's got to be held responsible for this. And definitely.
That the season's already set the tone for him with that Patriot game. They have not recovered since then. Yeah, they beat up Carolina, big damn deal, which I also predicted because I'm the genius. But who cares about that game? They have not done anything else in any other game. I'll look at you with your little smirk over there going, yeah, he is the genius. I know he is. All right, next game.
Another, again, the 1 o'clock window was great for us this week. And that would be, again, the Colts continuing to lose in Jacksonville. They just cannot win in Jacksonville. No. It's been over 10 years since they've won in Jacksonville. Can't believe it. 37-34, game down to the wire as Trevor Lawrence finally gets off the schneid. Gets their first win of the season, and an absolute shootout, 37-34. Your thoughts?
I mean, Lawrence, 20 for 34, 371 yards. He finally woke up. Let's not kid ourselves. That Colts defense has more holes than Swiss cheese in it. I think the big story is there might be a quarterback controversy in Indy because Flacco, 33 for 44, 359 yards, 3 touchdowns. How do you bring Richardson back in after that? Flacco's been amazing. He's not Andy Dalton. He has a ring under his belt. He has plenty of experience under his belt. The man can play. So if you're the head coach, you got Richardson coming back. Who are you starting next week, Colton?
It's Anthony Richardson.
Oh, come on. No way. How do you start him?
You're definitely starting Anthony Richardson. It's not even a question.
Oh, geez. Here we go again with you.
They're way too invested in him. He hasn't played. He doesn't have a lot of college experience. He's got to play. Otherwise, what are you doing with him? So he's definitely playing.
Tank the season? Tank the season for Indy in a very winnable division.
It is a very winnable division. It is a very winnable division, but I don't know if they're winning the division, by the way. Yeah, I forget. I guess you forget.
I think they can because Houston's not all that. We'll get to them in a minute.
We are getting to them in a minute. But yes, I think Houston is all that. That is my AFC darling. But
no way.
I think they win the division. They're way too invested in Anthony Richardson not to play him. Sorry.
I understand that point. But, I mean, if you're trying to win, I'm going with Flacco right now. I'm riding him while he's hot.
Well, speaking of those Houston Texans, we'll head on down to Houston. And a late comeback push there from Buffalo, but it comes up a little short. In the Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs game, C.J. Stroud hits Nico Collins early for a bomb. He ends up leaving the game at halftime with a hamstring injury, so we'll check in on that next week, see what's up with Nico Collins.
I think he's out next week.
But a big win for the Houston Texans as they go to 4-1, and Buffalo 2-game skid here as they go to 3-2. Your thoughts on C.J. Stroud, that young stud?
I mean, Stroud didn't play great outside of that bomb. I mean, he was terrible in the second half. I mean, what did they have? A 20-0 lead right off the bat? I believe so. Yeah, they had a 20-0 lead. Allen even got hurt. He didn't even go with it, and this infuriates me because if this was 2, all hell would be breaking loose. But Allen got knocked unconscious, went to the sideline, sniffed some smelling salts like the old school way of doing it, and then was brought right back into the game. That's a joke in itself. The NFL needs to be looked into for that. I don't know how the hell he escapes the blue tent after cracking his head the way he did. Absolute joke. As for Houston's defense, I'm still not sold on them. Buffalo, they're obviously missing a big-time wide receiver. They miss Diggs. They do. I mean, who was it at the end? Keon Cole drops that ball there at the end when they were driving. That's a terrible job. They need a big-time receiver. Buffalo, they're still going to win the division because the AFC East is complete ass. But they're not going to go far in the playoffs. There's no chance. And as for Houston, they need to fix that defense ASAP if they think they're going to be a contender or an AFC darling, as you like to contend. You think they're going to contend with the Chiefs? No chance.
Sorry to tell you they will. But we continue to the AFC East and shit. We'll head to the Dolphins and Patriots game. I'll let you cover your Fins. When they had to have, by the way. And again, credit is due where credit's due. It was an ugly ass win, but it was a win they had to have. Otherwise, I think the season's over for the Dolphins, and there's no even chance of a playoff making the wild card. Season on the line to get it done, and we'll touch on the Patriots in a second, but I'll give you the floor on your Fins.
The season is over as far as I'm concerned already. I mean, this team is an absolute disaster. There's no other way to cut it. I actually want this team to lose now so they can get a very strong draft pick and get a good quarterback in Miami for once. Because Tua, I mean, he's done. I don't care what the NFL says. Oh, he's going to be cleared to play. If he's cleared, bullshit. He's done. He's absolutely done. You can't take that many more hits without something going on. Tua may be the first player to die on the field. That's how bad it is for him right now. And that Miami offense is pathetic. I don't want to see Huntley out there again next week. I do not want to see this guy. He does not know what the hell he's doing. I don't care. Oh, he was a great backup in Baltimore. He can't figure out that system. I guess it's too complex for him with all the motion and all this. You got to get the ball to Tyreek Hill. And you can't get the ball. And he underthrows. He overthrows. He looked more like he has a noodle arm than anything. He's just terrible. The whole team is terrible. I can't stand it. My season is over. I don't care if we beat the Patriots. I had to see the locker room after the game. They were all cheering and dancing. Oh, it was a big road win, blah, blah, blah. No, the team stinks. Trade the assets right now while you can still get something. Blow it all up. Start it all over. It's fool's gold is what it is.
You sound like a Jets fan. It's hilarious to see
that. No, I'm a realist Dolphin fan. It's reality. The team is terrible.
Well,
you telling me this team's a playoff team?
No. It depends what the record is when Tua gets back.
No, I don't give a damn what the record is when Tua gets back. The team is terrible.
The AFC sucks. The AFC sucks. So they can definitely get in.
Division, which is
sorry to tell you, they may get in if they're relevant when Tua comes back. But again, we just teased the Patriots. They make a QB switch today, and they're finally benching Jacoby Brissett, and they're putting in their was it third or fourth overall pick? I know it's Drake May. I'm trying to
neighbors
pick. Drake May at the University of North Carolina is going to finally get off and running. Training wheels are off. He's now thrown into the saddle in New England. Your thoughts on Drake May finally getting the nod? I know we both talked about it, that he was going to get, a little time to sit and watch, but it's now the Drake May show.
He should have been in a couple of weeks ago. I mean, Brissett is terrible. And believe me, I know I've seen him play with the Dolphins. He is awful. Brissett needs to hang it up. He makes such terrible decisions for an experienced quarterback. He doesn't know when to throw the ball out of bounds. I mean, it's just, I hope May didn't learn much from him. If Brissett taught him anything, he should just flush it down the crapper because Brissett is that bad. May's going to bring a new life to New England, and I believe the Dolphins would have lost this week if May played. And speaking of quarterbacks from Miami, you know who Miami should go after right now? Mac Jones. That guy's just sitting there. I know he stinks. I know he's not great, but he's better than Huntley, and he's better than Thompson. Miami, go get Mac Jones, for God's sakes. Do something with that awful quarterback position. It's so putrid. It makes me – it's as bad as Colton's picks. It's so terrible.
Funny stuff, Phil. We'll kind of skim by because we are kind of getting long already in the tooth here. We didn't even get the picks yet or anything, so we'll kind of get a little bit going here.
All right, go to Dallas, Pittsburgh.
Well, I was just saying, no. I got to touch on the game. Let's give a little recap. Commanders stay hot. Commanders stay hot. They piss on Cleveland. I think there's got to be serious talk in Cleveland about benching Deshaun Watson. I can't believe what the hell is going on there. And the Commanders are hot, 4-1. I can't believe how well they're playing with Jaden Daniels. Again, I think we both agreed that he was going to be the best quarterback in this draft. And he's showing it. We've seen a little bit from Caleb Williams. He's finally coming to life. But holy cow, what the hell is going on in Cleveland? We'll hopefully continue to talk about the shitstorm in Cleveland next week. So we'll look at that. We'll buzz right over this shit game here as the Broncos piss on the Vegas Raiders. There's big problems there in Vegas. I know Devontae Adams is the hot name of being dealt, whether it's to the Saints, whether it's to the Jets. I don't know. They suck. Bo Nix and company blow them out.
He played well. His first game, he played well. I got to give him the man credit. He played well this week, finally.
I think it's because it's Vegas. Vegas sucks nuts.
True, I agree.
We'll talk about the big. Like, I cannot believe these guys are 2-3, and that would be the NFC West. We had to, and the Cardinals stunning Brock Purdy and company.
Shocking.
I can't believe these asshats are 2-3. What are your thoughts on the debacle that's going on with the Niners?
San Fran has some issues. I mean, they missed McCaffrey. Let's not kid ourselves. They missed that little dump pass to McCaffrey where he can run 50 yards. Mason can't do that. That's a huge part of their game. They need McCaffrey back ASAP if they're going to contend. You wouldn't think the way Mason's running the ball, but they miss the intangibles of what McCaffrey brings to that team. And you still have Kittle, you still have Debo, you still have Ayuk, you still have Purdy. The offensive line's still playing well. The defense has been terrible, by the way. You can't allow the points they've been allowing, especially the 2-point conversion there at the end. Atrocious. But they miss McCaffrey, and that's the bottom line.
They're indeed missing CMC. Green Bay almost lets the Rams back into the game, but they get a win 24-19. That is my only win of the week in picks as Green Bay covered. New York Giants. We've kind of pissed on them. The media's shit on them. They're not as bad as we think, I don't think. They should have beaten the Commanders if they have a kicker. They probably beat Dallas. Like, they are, a kicker away from being 3-2, and they probably should have beaten Dallas. This team could be 4-1. Your thoughts on the G-Men?
I was mostly shocked by Daniel Jones playing well without Neighbors and without Singletary. The Tyrone kid, he ran hard. He played well. Notice I picked him up last week, and he led me to victory in my fantasy team. But the Giants showed up. They played well on offense. I can't believe they couldn't do anything against Dallas. And then they go all the way to Seattle, where it's very tough to play. That flight alone is brutal. And then they go out there and play the way they did. They got the blocked field goal. They showed up on all 3 phases of the game, and they played well. And, good for the Giants. Good for the Giant fans. Seattle stinks, by the way.
Have an interesting game Sunday night as the Giants host the Cincinnati Bengals Sunday Night Football. Might end up going to that game.
Yeah.
We're trying to sell it still, trying to sell it. So, but might be going to that game. I am not eating those tickets. So I might be heading to MetLife.
That's actually a fun game.
It is. I just don't like missing the Steelers. So the Steelers play at 4:00 Sunday, so I'm not really trying to miss the Steelers. I'll try to find a way to watch it in the parking lot, I guess, if that's the case. But again, Sunday Night Football, Giants hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Kansas City, again, takes care of business against the Saints. Not really surprising there. Injury news out of that game, though. Derek Carr could be missing a week or two with an oblique injury, so that is something to watch for the Saints. And again, what we've been waiting for, we will be heading to Sunday Night Football to the 9:45 kickoff in Acrisure. And again, easiest way I'm going to quote it, same old Steelers. It's the same old Steelers. I got teased early on in the season. They're 3-0. The offense looks like it's kind of clicking. I know the points weren't all there yet, but the offense is moving the ball. The defense looks good. And now we're back to the same old thing. We put Justin Fields in the bubble. Can't throw the ball over the field, even though Dallas is without Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, and the offense still looks like shit. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, Old Ben. Doesn't matter. The quarterback play still fucking sucks. I've had my rants about the Steelers the last few days talking to my buddies. I don't understand what this fucking team is. I'm so sick and tired of Mike Tomlin. I don't care about my language. Mike Tomlin effing sucks. I'm so sick and tired of this team. They've had 3 different OCs. The offense still sucks. They still can't score. And that's I just bring it back. Like, you've had 3 different OCs in the building, and some odd reason the offense still sucks. Like, don't tell me Arthur Smith can't call an offense, because he can. Sorry to tell you, Justin Fields is better than Ryan Tannehill, and Ryan Tannehill was a Pro Bowl quarterback. They were number 1 seed in Tennessee. I got the division sucks. I know the AFC South sucked for a long time. Now CJ Stroud's there, Trevor Lawrence. It's not as bad, but sorry to tell you, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. He had 2,000-yard receivers. They had Derrick Henry running the football. How the hell is this offense this shit? I don't understand it. And for me, it goes back to one guy and one guy only. That'd be Mike Tomlin. The guy's stuck in 2010 and in the 2000s where he thinks the defense can win a game and they can't score points and they'll win a football game. Sorry, Tomlin. It is an offensive-driven league. You got to put up points on the scoreboard. 20 points ain't cutting it, and we can barely sift 20 points. We're averaging 18.6 points a game this season. It's laughable. It's embarrassing. And it goes to one guy, and the Steelers won't get rid of him, and that is Mike Tomlin. And the Steelers will continue to be just 500. And I had my reality check the last 2 weeks. That's what this team is. It's the same old Steelers. They're not going to win anything. They have the talent on the roster to do it if they were to bring in another wide receiver. But I still don't think that would change anything. I think they'd still be scared. Don't let the quarterback ruin the game. I know you're smirking. I don't effing care. That's what this team is. Again, there's talks about starting Russell Wilson this week. Justin Fields is not the problem. Sorry to tell folks. He's not the issue in Pittsburgh. It's the system.
It's the answer.
He definitely is the answer. Sorry to tell you. Justin Fields is definitely could be the future. You can all your chest and laugh. Justin Fields is not the problem in Pittsburgh. They're going to start Russell Wilson probably this week, and it's going to be the same result. And it's going to be, oh, look, we just beat the Raiders, who got blown out by Denver this week, who put up 10 points against they couldn't put up 10 against Pittsburgh. They barely put up 10 against the Jets, and yet they blew out the Raiders and somehow will be in a tight game against Vegas this weekend. Absolute shitstorm in Pittsburgh. I got my reality check. It's the same old Steelers, and this is what they are. Sorry to tell you, Ravens are going to win the division. Steelers are going to sneak in the playoffs, and that's that.
You are such a fraud. How dare you go on the Justin Fields bandwagon? You wanted Wilson starting in the beginning of the year, and now all of a sudden Fields is your savior? You don't want Wilson now? Are you kidding me? That's so bad. You are such a typical Steeler fan. You're almost as bad as a Jet fan. Reality has come swift and hard for you Steeler fans. What a damn shame. Too bad. Your team stinks.
I don't care who my quarterback is. I don't care who my quarterback is.
You should. You can have a Miami.
Again, I'm sorry to tell you. I think Justin Fields could play. And again, I have nothing against Russ. Like, oh, you wanted Russ. No. Russ was named the starter going into week 1, and he's hurt.
What the hell is wrong with George Pickens, by the way?
He's a diva. He acts like he's Antonio Brown without the Antonio Brown production. That's what George Pickens is. I'm getting sick and tired of him too. With the nose tape on his this week. Always effing open. Yeah, you sure are, George. Yeah, you're not always effing open. And when you are open, catch the ball on third down, you bum. Oh God.
That's right.
It's not even that I'm a fraud. It's we're delusional. And again, everyone's like laughed. Like I've talked to, like we are delusional fans. Like we got teased last year when we had Arizona, when we had New England come in the door, we had the Cardinals come in, and we went to the Colts. And it was like, oh, these are 3 shit teams. We should win these 3 games, and we're in pole position to win the division. And we lose to the Cardinals, who effing suck. And the Patriots with Bailey Zappi in Pittsburgh beat you. Shit team. It's what they are. It's the same old Steelers. It's what they are. And again, Steeler fans don't like hearing it from Coward, who's like, oh, he hates the Steelers. Nah, he's 2,000% right. He's just a unbiased view on it. It's what they are. Everyone's happy in Pittsburgh just being 500. I didn't get the memo that just being 500 was acceptable in Pittsburgh. But that's what they are now. It's what it is. We're the Jets. We're happy to be 500. Yay, Pittsburgh.
The Jets are 500.
I know, but again, like as in the standard of the Jets, like, oh, we're 500. That's great. Yes. I'm telling you, trade Tomlin because the league loves Tomlin. Trade Tomlin. Get a good package in for him, get a new coach, and let's move on because it's time for Tomlin to go. And again, the problem is the Pittsburgh Steelers will not move on from Tomlin. And it's the same old shit. That's why I don't understand what people don't see in Pittsburgh. They've had 3 different OCs. They've had 5 different quarterbacks. And if Russ starts, 6 different quarterbacks. And they still can't put up points. Sorry. They've had wideouts there. Last year, you have Deontay Johnson, who's had a few good weeks in Carolina. George Pickens, which, as a number 2 receiver, you can say bum all you want. He makes great catches. Sorry to tell you. He's just a nutcase. He's a head case. And the fact that he's not getting the targets, it is what happens. But the problem is we've had wideouts and weapons in Pittsburgh, and we still can't score. It comes down to one thing only, and I think that's head coaching. So enough with Pittsburgh, my rant about the Steelers. We touched on all the games this week. We will now head to weeks.
If the Steelers want to save their season, they're going to put Wilson in.
It doesn't matter. It's gonna be the same result. You could put you might see
because
Wilson.
he's a lot more accurate. Come on.
Do you not realize how many passes? Do you not realize what Justin Fields' completion percentage is this season? I guess you don't.
Well, no, I don't. Tell me.
71%.
Then why isn't he throwing more? What? He had
121
yards passing.
Because it's the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers also dropped a ton of balls. This is the problem when you don't have a legitimate.
I can do 71 yards, 71% too if I just throw 5 yards and let my
running back. That's a Steelers offense. That's my point. I think that's why I think it's on Tomlin. I think Tomlin goes to these OCs like, don't throw the ball in the middle of the field. Like, we don't need turnovers. But then, like, again, this is what frustrates me with this team. I hate to keep talking about the Steelers and, like, spend 10 years on them. Just because, like, we talk about everything else. This isn't a Steelers show or whatever. But, again, Dak Prescott throws 2 picks. They have a fumble. They have a blocked field goal. And they're still aggressive. And guess what? They came back and win the game. Yes. Sorry. You have to put up points in this league and not be scared. And the thing is, that's what it's so contradicting from Pittsburgh. If you trust your defense so much, let Justin make a mistake or two. You have that much trust in your defense to hold him for a field goal. Like, I don't get it. I'm so sick and tired of it. But, again, we will now move on to Beat the Genius as you continue to stay hot, and you're on an absolute burner here. You are 3-0 back-to-back weeks and now have a 5-game lead. You go and get a 2-game buffer on me, and you go to 5 games as Beat the Genius. Phil, your picks for this week. Floor is yours.
The genius is here, baby. That's right. 6-0 the past 2 weeks. Who's better than me? You guys want to make some cash? Listen to me. This week, I am taking Atlanta -5 over Carolina. The game is in Carolina. I'm usually not big on taking road favorites, but Atlanta is coming off a 10-day rest. Carolina is back to being Carolina after what I saw last week. Hopefully, what's his name? Cousins continues to stay hot. He should have another big game. I see them winning by 20. Game number 2, I am taking the Jacksonville Jaguars +2.5 over the Bears. Why, you ask? Ask why.
I already know what you're asking you, Jack. I already know what you're asking you, Jag off. It's because they're in London. They win in London.
Exactly. And the genius that I am knows that Jacksonville loves playing in London or wherever the hell they're playing this time. The Bears coming off a big win. Teams just, I don't know what it is. These London games suck. The offense is just bogged down. And I see Jacksonville, keeping it close and probably winning outright. And then the third one, this is going to be a little shocker to you. And you'll probably like the pick, but it's still going to be a shocker. I am taking Washington +6.5 against Baltimore. That line is way too high. I expect Baltimore to win, but it's going to be a close game. Washington has been for real this year. They're not a fluke 4-1. They have played well. They've dominated. They've beaten the hell out of teams. And I think, Baltimore is going to come down off a big division game, celebrating their win against the Bengals. And they're thinking, here comes our little brother. We're going to beat the hell out of them. So I'm taking Washington to cover, once again, possibly win outright. If you guys want to take a parlay, take Jacksonville, Washington money lines. That might bring you in some coin because I am the genius. Let's hear these crap-ass picks from Colton.
Oh, Phil, you're so funny. For me, I'm starting off with, I think, the layup of the week. And I'm, I don't sports bet a lot because I don't have the money nowadays with all these weddings I've been attending and have this year. Yes, I'm going to be taking, I think, the easiest layup of the week, and that'd be the Buccaneers -3.5. I don't know what the hell the Saints are going to be trotting out at quarterback this week, and the fact that line's only 3.5. Yeah, you can give me the Buccaneers. So I will be jumping all over that.
I'm sorry, who are they playing?
The Saints. Bucs play the Saints.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So I'll be taking that. I am as well going to jump on with you with the Jags. Again, it's a home game for the Jags as they actually have no fans in Jacksonville and they have fans in London, so they're there all the effing time. So give me the Jacksonville Jaguars -2.5. And my final pick of the week will be the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday Night Football. Give me the Niners. minus 3.5. I think they get it done Thursday night. I think Seattle just isn't that good, and San Fran needs the game. If they go to 2-4, I don't. What is going to happen there? They're going to have to make some trades, do something, and make some moves because I don't understand if they go to 2-4. That would be the biggest mind blown of the season if they go to 2-4. So give me the Niners, Buccaneers, and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I actually like your picks this week. You may be like me and go 3-0 again. Well, not again. Yes. Maybe. Yes. Go undefeated. Yes. One time at least. Impress the crowd. And for the rest of you, I don't care if you missed a couple weeks, start playing. I'll do winning percentage. That's how confident I am that I'm going to kick your ass. You know why? Because I'm the genius and you're not. That's right.
I think that's a wrap for our show. Phil, appreciate you as always. We'll talk a little bit more playoff baseball next week. Hopefully, the Yankees are on the doorsteps of closing up the series. The Yankees
to be done next week because Boone just has his head up his ass.
Well, Phil thinks they're done next week. I hope they are done next week. So, again, we'll take a look at the playoffs around the Diamond in the MLB. We'll take a look at the Metro Puck going on as their puck drop is today after the season opener on the weekend with the Global Series. And, of course, we'll take a look at the NFL. So, yes. I'm Colton. That's Phil. This is the Person to Foul podcast. Genius. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. And, again, check the show out always on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. We're there if you want to just get the audio. Want the video, check out us on YouTube, Person to Foul Pod, and check us out on Facebook, Person to Foul Podcast. Again, I'm Colton. That's Phil. Appreciate you guys for listening.
Phil the genius. You call me the genius, damn it.